Battery capacity is often unknown or faked. We show an easy method to measure it. Batteries have usually labels that give us the nominal voltage and the capacity in milliampere hours. Sometimes they are not telling us the truth, or the batteries are used and old. In order to avoid disappointments during use, we can find out the truth with some simple measurements. When we connect a load to a battery, we expect the voltage going down over time, as we can see it in the picture on the right side. We are going to measure now the voltage in certain time steps that we call delta T now. Knowing the load resistor's value, we can calculate the current, the power, and the incremental values for the charge and the energy. The formulas are given on the left side. Now, just by adding up the increments over a full discharge cycle, we get the battery's actual charge in milliampere hours and the energy in milliwatt hours, like the formulas given on the right bottom side. This sounds like quite some effort, and the chances to make mistakes are also given. Of course, we make our life easier. Why? Simply because we have the Electronics Unmessed channel. We use a little spreadsheet tool that is given right at your disposal. Let me explain it to you. We start typing in the nominal values for capacity and voltage. It is no problem if you don't know, just take your best guess then. Then the load resistor's value for the discharge needs to be defined. Next, you need to define the number of measurements that you want to perform. In case you do the voltage measurements manually, you might want to choose 20 here. In case of automatic measurements, you might want to use 100 for better accuracy. The time step here to insert is then the one that you actually used in your measurements. In the middle section, you get some immediate results that are important for your setup. You get the nominal current, capacity, and runtime to plan the experiment. And then there is the wattage for the resistor to make sure that it is big enough to dissipate the heat. It also recommends roughly a time step length, which you probably choose then to an even number. Once you are fine with your setup dimensioning, you start the measurements. Before you set up your experiments, please always respect the hazard warnings. Don't shortcut or overcharge your battery. Batteries can explode and cause significant harm then. Choose your discharge resistor right because of fire hazard. Avoid deep discharge because your battery will suffer from it. The experiments given here are dedicated only for small batteries. For stronger batteries, you would need professional help for your safety. Now in my case here, I performed the measurements with my Arduino data logger. It is recording a lot more data. However, we just look at these two columns that we need. It is the running number and the voltage at input A2. After shaping the data a bit, it looks like this. Next, we are going to copy and paste this data to this section in the tool. The columns on the left side you can use for your own comments. I, for instance, put in here the time and date when I started and also when I ended the whole measurements, so that I could check whether my time steps are okay. In this case it was not, because the runtime that is calculated from the time steps is here 22.5 hours instead of 22. Now, since the time base of my data logger is not 100% accurate, I can adjust here the time steps later on. And yep, now the runtime given in the output section is now exactly 22 hours, as I have measured with my clock. Now we get in the output section the desired values, being the actual capacity and the deviation from the nominal values. In my case, I have a brand new lithium-ion battery. And it's nice to see that the measured capacity is slightly higher than the nominal capacity. On the right side of the spreadsheet we get the graphics for the data. And here in my case I see a strange effect that took me quite some time to understand. I will come back to that in a minute. The output section is giving us also the incremental values that the tool needs then to sum up. As mentioned before, we need to analyze this funny behavior a bit deeper. Looking at the strange voltage drops in the curves, the first thing that came to my mind was electrical contact problems or inaccuracies of the analog to digital converter and other bizarre ideas. But everything turned out to be okay. Then I remembered that I had opened the window of my room for 2 times during the measurements. This caused the room temperature to drop by about 10 degrees Celsius. And when I looked at the temperature characteristics of lithium-ion batteries, I found that this is exactly corresponding to the voltage drops of about 60 millivolts that we see here. What a mess! I didn't respect the first and easiest rule for measurements: constant temperatures. But anyway, I wanted to share this with you so that you can see the effects and you can make it better then. Here's my setup to give you an idea how it looks like with my data logger. The logger is of course connected to a PC and a terminal program. However, alternatively, you could do it all manually using a clock and a multimeter. What are the learnings of this episode? In my case, the battery delivers what it promises, which is okay for a medium-priced battery. The battery has even an automatic switch off to avoid deep discharge, which we can see from the measurements. As always, the spreadsheet is helpful to do the mathematics. Hope you enjoyed the capacity measurement episode, and don't miss the Arduino data logger episodes. Now stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe and support the channel. See you soon in the coming episodes.